What?
You've waited 27 years. You've been waiting 15 minutes for this amazing group. Welcome, guys. My name's Josh Horowitz. I host a podcast called Happy, Sad, Confused. But today, my geek heart is so damn happy, guys. I am in love with Starship Troopers. I have been since it came out in 1997. Wildly entertaining, wildly subversive, an amazing cast from the visionary director Paul Verhoeven. You guys know it. You guys love it. Starship Troopers, give them a warm New York Comic-Con welcome. Seth Williams, Michael Ironside, Stephen Meyer, Denise Richards, Casper Van Dien. Give it up for Here's Dina. Here she is, everybody. Everybody! The great Michael Ironside, everybody! Short chair? Nice, we didn't mention a chair. Can we get a comfy chair for Mr. Michael Ironside?
Give me a short chair.
Short chair for Michael Ironside is on its way, hopefully, okay?
I have false knees now.
You don't? Yeah, we want you to be comfortable. This is a packed room, Michael. Welcome. All right, guys.
Bald heads, though.
Take me back, first of all. This is Paul Verhoeven, sci-fi, royalty, RoboCop, Total Recall, of course. Was this a hot thing for a young actor? Was this like the buzz of the town to try to get in on Starship Troopers? What do you remember?
Oh, yes. It was the talk of the town. It was the buzz. It was all the rage. And we were all very excited to have the opportunity to read for Paul and get in on this action.
Does anybody remember specifically their audition? Denise, Casper, what do you remember?
Well, I definitely remember screen testing with Casper. We were the only ones that were screen testing, so we knew if we didn't get it, we really effed up.
That's true. We had Paul had to do for the studio in his contract. He had to give them at least a couple screen tests. So they wanted a screen test, but he didn't. When I went there, I said, "Who am I testing against?" He goes, "No, they said a couple screen tests, so I'm just doing you and Denise."
Paul does what he wants.
Yeah, so he only wanted us, and so so Denise is 100% correct. If we screwed the screen the test up, it was totally on us.
And Michael, you obviously knew from experience the legendary Paul Verhoeven, having worked with him before. When he comes to you with this material, is it an easy conversation? Is it what Paul wants him to do, or are there some major questions when it came to you?
Kind of lady, do you know this story?
I've heard elements.
Yeah, my grandfather was a member of a group called the 100 or 110, I can't remember, they were all sci-fi writers. And the writer of Starship Troopers was kind of a controversial guy, very right wing. He believed that if you weren't willing to kill for your country, you should be allowed to vote. He also wrote an address, he was a cross-dresser, transsexual. He also he wrote a book right after the Starship Troopers called The Citizen's Handbook, very much like whatever that, what is it called, 2027 or 2026?
2025.
Yeah, very much like that. I've had a look at that, this is kind of shite. Sorry, I don't mean to get
It's Starship Troopers.
I'm Canadian, so I can fucking say what I want. How many years ago? Anyway, Paul came to me, and they sent me the script, and Paul wanted me to play this character, and I said, can I talk to Paul? And I knew he was a bit of a war rat, because his idea as a kid, they would they'd find 88 shells and stuff like that, like Panzer shells, and they'd put a foot on it, hit it with a hammer, let them fire off. And weird shit like this when he was a kid. He was raised in a war-torn Europe. So I said to him, I said, you're going to do this right-wing fucking novel, Paul? You know? And we got to know each other pretty good on Total Recall. And he said, what, you got a problem with this? He's very, very He says, all right, I answer your question one time. He says, I'm going to make a perfect world, a beautiful world, where everyone's so fuckable, you know? I took that as a compliment. And he said, but, you know, everyone's beautiful, everything's great. He says, but it's only good for killing bugs. I said, oh, cool, I'm in. Well, I mean, seriously, because I was really concerned. I was like, has he lost his mind? He's going to make this right-wing manifesto. Actually, it was not received this way in the United States, in North America. It was received as, I had people ask me, why are you running around in Nazi uniforms? Why are you doing this? In Europe, they got the satire, you know. That's enough of this anyway.
What does jump out to each of you guys about the production? You did a wonderful Paul Verhoeven approximation there. He is a unique, big personality. Relatively young in your careers, you must have jumped out as like a very strong-willed, interesting filmmaker to work with. What do you remember most? Like, what was like a unique Paul Verhoeven direction that you remember, Seth?
The fucking bugs are coming, they're crazy, they want to kill you. Gaspar, look at the fucking camera.
Does that take you back, Casper? You
Oh my God. That's so good. That's the best Black Verhoeven I've ever seen.
There's this one part of the movie, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen it, when I get skewered with the pincer by the arachnid. And at the end, before Johnny so bravely, pulls out the pincer and I bleed out, which I never really understood. Like, why didn't they just put me in the tank? If they put him in, like, prepare me, right? That would have been much better. I would have gone on to the sequel. Anyway, so Paul tells me, he's like, just I want you to scream. And I'm thinking to myself, I've got a collapsed lung, I've got a punctured lung, it's going to be hard to get the air to, and he's saying it, and because it's a Paul Verhoeven moment, he's like, Dina, just stop being so difficult, just scream. Just like, I'm sorry, but the air, and okay, That's my Paul moment.
That's the best female Verhoeven I've ever heard. We're covering the bases.
We're going to open it up to the audience for 500 Paul Verhoeven impressions. I'm going to get surprised. It's an amazing movie that, frankly, that the effects hold up so well because CGI was still in its infancy and it relies a lot on CGI. It's fantastic, I would imagine. Do you remember how that felt in the moments of work with so much that wasn't there?
I remember Paul running around with a stick with a tennis ball on it. And he didn't have someone else do it, he did it himself. And he would run around acting crazy. And that was our eye line and what we had to react to. Because we did see, prior to us starting to film, models of what the bugs looked like. And then we saw a couple of them on set, but for the most part, it was green screen, and that was what was so crazy when we did see the movie. We were like, oh shit, these things were big, and they were really coming at us, like Paul with the stick, the tennis balls. So it was, I think, one of the best acting classes ever working on that movie.
What is the dynamic on set? Like, so you guys are all... This is part 2 of my interview with you, Michael. I interviewed you for this film 27 years ago in my college radio station. So as far as I'm concerned... This is part 2. But was he a little intimidating? What was it like to work with Michael on set? What do you remember?
He was really fucking grumpy most of the time.
really didn't seem like he wanted
I was gonna
to.
say, checks out.
Nothing's changed.
No, he was great. He led by example. You know, he led by example. He was focused. He was present. He was there. He was commanding. He had presence, and you know, because he played like the bad guy in every movie we'd seen from childhood on.
I would say things like, Seth, get close to the camera, and you go, I'm good back here.
Well, I had no idea whether the movie would suck or not, so I did try to hide a lot.
He actually said on set, like, this is going nowhere. It's like... Here we are 37 years later sitting on stage.
What do we make in retrospect of the love quartet that makes up this film? Like who, I don't know, I mean between Dizzy, Rico, Carmen, and Xander, who was at fault, who was in the right?
Well, I think we know the answer to that.
They were young love, and coming of age, and trying to figure out, which I actually think it's funny. He's still a gentleman. No, I think it's also a coming of age of all of us, that, including you, finding who we are and trying to, and pursuing our career and choosing that over love. Sorry, but but I think it's a wonderful. I think that's why we're still sitting on this stage. Is that there's a timeless factor with this movie that resonates with generations younger than us, which is wonderful.
But not the underpinnings of it. Was it a disappointment at all that it wasn't being kind of understood?
Of course, we were definitely disappointed that it was missed. And I was kind of confusing to see that, because you go like Michael said, when you go to England, they'd have these posters just plastered down the tubes and tunnels going, war, it's war! And the propaganda, they got it so wonderfully. So you'd see that, and then you'd see where it was missed in other places, and you'd go, how do people miss that? But today's young audience will come up to us now and they'll go, there's no way people missed the satire back then, that's so blatant. And I'd be like, you guys have the internet and you have your people that showed you, so no, it is shocking and was disappointing.